How did you see it?
You just same body language as mine.
Promising first
Just-
half and fell away.
Yeah, really promising first half. Really promising. Thought we were on top in the contest. I thought we had our opportunities, and in the end, we're our own worst enemies. We just in the second half we turned the ball over in positions you just can't against a good side, and I think it ended up 9 goals from turnover. Not many teams have won games doing that. So you got to be pleased with the contest, really pleased with what we brought. You know, inside stoppage, around the ground. I think at halftime we were plus 11 ground balls around the ground. That's a really good sign of work rate, getting to the ball first. Our shape on the ground. Thought we owned the game for periods. Weren't able to score. So again, they didn't necessarily hurt us in that first half off turnover, but we had opportunities where you have to put scoreboard pressure on good sides, and every team in the comp's a good side. If you don't put scoreboard pressure on, it starts to weigh on you, and in the second half we lost our way.
Did you show more frustration with it tonight?
Maybe on camera. Behind the scenes, I get frustrated. We all get frustrated. Our players are frustrated. We train a certain way. Under pressure, we're not able to implement it consistently at the moment. We go away from what we're training, and that's our challenge as a younger group, and actually, to be honest, some of our older guys. That's the biggest challenge. Is under pressure. We have to take our medicine on occasion. Last week we were probably criticised for being too straight line down the line. This week we changed a few things up. We wanted to move and own the ball, but the needle moved from one end to the other, and it hurt us. And start of the third, we overdid a few things.
So we're on that fine line where you then keep a focus and get that frustration and don't get into a blame game among each other.
Yeah, that's the key, and there's no blame at the moment. The frustration at 3/4 time was more a frustration of me talking to them as a brother, just saying, look, boys, we're killing ourselves. I looked across at Collingwood and I said, they're a good side, but they're not doing it. We're doing it to ourselves at this point. There was a bit of emotion in that because of the frustration, as we spoke about. But we tried to adjust, but we had a little bit similar in the last quarter. And some of that comes when the opposition lift their game, and I thought they did that. So we'll give them credit because I thought they had better hands than us around the contest. I think they overpossessed us in the end by a substantial amount, and that was quick hands that we knew they brought. We know they've got that in their game, so we weren't able to stop that in the end.
Does it make it harder to get up after a loss like that, or when you're blown away and you're completely outplayed? How do you see the difference in mindset after that?
No, they're easy to get up for. It's more we'll come together, and we talk straight after the game as a group while it's reasonably raw. The positive to come out of it are the ones we focus on, and then we will go away and work on throughout the week how we're going to improve. So the positive being the contest, well, that's a great one for us to tick off as we had we've got Lairdy in there on ball. I thought he was fantastic tonight. It's exciting what hopefully he's going to bring over the coming years. We had some really positive stuff when it comes to that, our ability to compete with a good side. We just come back to those values, and that's where we'll go for the week. It's not hard.
What about the combination with forward line, Himmelberg and Stephen together? Did you like the look of that?
I really like the look of that when we use it. Yeah. And we train that. We saw it a couple of times tonight. One real standout where, it's a reasonably simple game if you keep it simple. Sometimes we try to overdo it when we feel like we need to do more than what the team needs, and that's our RFI at the moment. If we can improve some of that, things turn pretty quickly. Where rather than those 12-point turnarounds, you put some scoreboard pressure on the opposition, are challenged mentally. But there were some passages today where we saw it, and it was exciting, and it involved. I thought Elliott was again. I thought he had another really positive step forward. He looked big tonight. He looked dangerous. When he didn't mark it, it was coming to ground. and as you said, Tyson cleaned up.
The loss of Lynch, how severe initially and nice, does that throw out your connection and your forward line, which you've spoken a fair bit about this year?
Yeah, we've lost another one early in the game, unfortunately, with Lynch. Not sure how severe the actual injury is at this point, but just from a team dynamic, you go one down, it challenges you a little. We shuffle, so one will come from forward to Lynch at that stage was playing on a wing, a pretty important role for us as far as our, owning the game and owning shape on the field. But I think they end up losing. I mean, Ruffy, I think, went down as well, so they lost a few players. That's not the difference in the game.
And do they lost as well,
Yeah, well, and we're fingers crossed on both. We're fingers crossed on both that they're not bad. Tommy's was a bit of tightness in the hamstring, so we'll hope for the best on both of those.
Matthew, on the bigger picture, R11 says Adelaide bottom out, which is something we thought we'd never ever say of Adelaide. Did you think at the start of the year that that's where it was headed, that this was a bottoming out list?
No, I didn't think we would bottom out, but I knew we'd have our challenges. I came in with complete clarity around where we were going as a club and the direction we needed to take to basically improve our list. And we're in that process at the moment. So, you look back at the season so far, we're probably in 4 or 5 games where we feel like we had opportunities. In the end, it doesn't look that way. But we'd like to think you steal a couple of those games. Bottoming out's an interesting term for it. I think what we're in a transition. We're rebuilding our list. What comes with that is challenges because we've got a young group that we will make mistakes in games. And today, we made a lot of those mistakes. Probably the hardest part at the moment is I think our young guys are really performing well. We get exposed every now and then with some of the top end players. I thought tonight some of our younger guys were in the right positions at times and just couldn't quite complete the contest. The hardest part at the moment is some of our older guys that are letting us down and we're turning that ball over too easily and giving the opposition scoreboard.
When you say that direction, is that a belief that it's better to go one big step backwards rather than get trapped in no man's zone of 9, 10, 11 and 12 for a long, long time?
Look, ultimately we're all playing to win a premiership. So every year you start the year with that goal, that if things go our way, we win a premiership. But then there's a reality to looking at the list that you have, looking at your age profile. You go back over the years and you look at the profile of sides that have won premierships. There's experience that's on-field experience in those sides. There's experience at finals level. We often come into a final series and say, this team's going to struggle because the finals are a different game. So you're building a list to ultimately contend for a premiership. We're in that process at the moment. A number of teams have been through it. Right now, we've got teams sitting at the top that have performed and gone through a similar time to what we are in at the moment. I mean, I look at Brisbane 3.5 years ago. They're in a very similar position to where we are at the moment. It's tough because it's hard to lose. We're in an industry that is pretty much about win-loss.
There's a nice debate about how to do it, how far back you need to go before you go forward again.
Yeah.
There's some teams that have been perpetually trapped in that no man's zone that's called between 9 and 12 because they didn't take a deep step like you appear to be doing at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's definitely that. We've seen teams over time that have been in that position, knocking on the door of finals, still have that belief they can play in a grand final. And I think it's hard to say at the start of a season that a team that, you're not going to be able to do it. But if you do crunch the numbers and you have a look at it closely, it is tough to do without experience. We're in a position at the moment that we're working through a list and we're seeing some really positive growth, but we've still got work to do.
Do you see Laird as almost graduating to a full-time in your eye?
I feel like he's playing some great football in there. I feel like it suits him. And again, if we come back and talk about experience, Lairdy's built his game on defence behind the ball. Now, he was quite an aggressive defender, so he read the game really well. but you watch some of his best football, he was coming off an opponent. I think that's a great grounding for a midfielder. And you see some really strong midfielders that come from that area, from half back, and as they mature and become stronger in the body and fitter, they get their opportunity in the midfield. And we've been able to put him in there to complement and help some of our younger guys. And I think he's playing some really good football at the moment.
McPherson's doing the job for you in the back line where you take lead out as well.
Well, it's also the balance of the side, spot on. And it's nice to have, Will Hamill not there tonight, but with concussion missing, he's come in as well and played across half-back and been really solid. McPherson, as you said, has been solid. We trialled Smith back there tonight to try and give us a little bit more punch off half-back. And we'll continue to look at some of those things, because Smith's another one that we've played on ball, for the start at the early part of this season, and we did like some of the stuff we saw there as well.